Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Public Service Committee meeting. It's 9 o'clock on Thursday, March 18th. Could we have the roll call, please?
Kobe?
Kobe's present.
Thank you. Brown?
Here.
Leonard?
Leonard here.
Lewis? Shepro?
Shepro here.
Burgess? Tepe?
Here.
Thank you.
All right. I have a motion for the approval of the minutes.
Shepro moves.
Leonard seconds.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Brown?
Yes.
Leonard?
Leonard, yes.
Lewis? Shepro?
Shepro, yes.
Kobe?
Kobe, yes.
Tepe, yes. Finance? Any report from finance? Recorder?
Yes, I would like to just bring the attention to the committee that the recorder's office is extremely busy. If you look on your report, you'll see that we have actually generated over $345,000 in excess of what we have projected for the year. While the building that houses the recorder's office is closed, the recorder is still functioning, and we are recording documents electronically and through the mail. So if there are any questions, I'd be glad to respond.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask the recorder, of that additional monies collected, does that go back into the general fund then?
That is the amount for the general fund. There's also a figure that you can see where we have what we have collected for the automation fund, but this is strictly for the general fund.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The treasurer's office?
Good morning, this is Maria. We are in preparation of the 2020 tax collection. We're preparing our tax bills, all the supplies and everything that we need. Our estimated due date is June 1st and September 1st. If all goes well, we get certified on time, which we always expected. We also collect mobile home, what is that? Privilege tax, service tax, basically. We sent out 972 mobile home bills, and those will be due May 10. And we filed our senior deferral applications, and we have submitted it to the state as well. So those were 59 applications that we received this year. And that is our report.
And when will the tax bills be going out?
They have to be out in the mail 30 days before the due date. So at the latest, it would be May 1st.
Everybody's looking forward to getting that. Supervisor's assessments, Mark?
Good morning, everyone. My report starts on page 34 of your packet. Our big news is something that is completely expected and what has happened every year, but is also super, super helpful for everyone involved, is that for the 34th consecutive year, Kane County's equalization factor has been 1.0000 from the state of Illinois, which means no adjustments are needed. By comparison, one of our neighboring counties, Cook County, has a projected equalization factor in excess of 3, which means every assessment would have to be tripled before property taxes were extended. That, by the way, would be the third highest equalization factor in state history if it stands, and it is subject to further revision because Cook County is not done working through Board of Review. But here in Kane, the assessment roll is accurate. We are on time and under budget. The regular monthly production report is on page 35 of your packet. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Question for the assessor.
Yes, sir.
Ken Shepro, putting Cook County aside, who's got the other biggest variance from one in the state, if you know that?
I don't have that information in front of me. Certainly for the 2020 payable 2021 year, that information is not completely compiled. And that's because Kane County is one of the earliest counties in the state to get done. There are a number of counties that still have not finished board of review hearings and have not gotten their final factors from the Department of Revenue. What I'd be happy to do, Mr. Shepro, is look up what has been done in prior years and give you that information. I believe the most complete current year on the Department of Revenue's website is 2018, because there's still some counties that have 2019 outstanding and have not sent their 2019 tax bills yet.
Wow. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. Regional Office of Education.
Good morning. This is Phil Morris. I'm here representing Pat Del Santo, Regional Superintendent. She's actually meeting with all of our district superintendents right now. So a few things to report out. One is our yearly Educator of the Year banquet, which ended up being canceled last year. This year we are moving forward with it, but we're going to do it all as a live stream, all virtual live stream. So over the next several weeks in Kane County Connects, you'll be able to see all 45 nominees reviewed, and then be able to get the links for attending that live stream. So we're pretty excited about the ability to make that happen this year, to do some celebration for our teachers. Last night was the spelling bee, which again this year had to be done virtually, and we are still awaiting results from Scripps directly. So each county has spelling bee. It was done virtually using Scripps, who actually runs everything out of DC. And so we're waiting this morning to get our notification of our winners in Kane County. So there were, I think, 8 competing last night for that virtually. So, and then other than that, I encourage all of you, if you're not getting our newsletter on a regular basis every 2 weeks, to on our website, scroll to the bottom and go ahead and register to receive that. We put on a lot of different workshops for our teachers, and it's always good to see what's happening on our other day-to-day activities. So that would be the report.
Was a winner declared last night in the spelling bee?
For Kane County, we're still awaiting our results this morning from Scripps.
So nationally, last year, they ran out of words and declared like 10 winners or some number like that. So
yeah, it's a very interesting process. Usually we host it, the Kane County one, here at our office, and we have the announcers and everything, and it's awesome to watch. These kids are amazing. But this year was all done virtually.
all right. Well, thank you very much. County Clerk. Pollock.
Good morning. As a former spelling bee winner in 8th grade, it would be terrifying to have to wait another day to find out what the results were. It was bad enough to do it that night. So I feel for those kids. You have our report. As you can see, we're still a little bit down in terms of revenue, but obviously with less people getting married and less people traveling, those numbers are going to be a bit off on terms of passports and marriage licenses. We did receive $31,545 from the State Board of Elections for reimbursements for some of our election judge costs from November. We're very aggressive in terms of reimbursements and grants, so we're always trying to bring money back into the general fund. With regard to the election, you guys see the canopy out there. Early voting is going on right now for the April 6th election, so feel free to come on over and vote afterwards if you haven't already early voted. Hours this week are 8:30 to 4:30, Monday to Friday. expansion of early voting begins on Monday. So all the sites across the county, the vote mobiles, all of that for the last 15 days before the election begin on Monday. So if you're want to know where the closest sites are, go to our website. We have the big poster like we always have, and there's a location near you, and you can vote anywhere in the county. Whether you're here, you want to go walk next door, if you're up north, if you're down south, let your residents know. We have early voting, and if you don't want to wait in line on election day, this is the time to do it. Vote by mail ballot requests have gone out. You can continue to do that. The deadline to request a ballot is April 1st at 4:30 p.m. We would recommend that you don't wait till the last minute. And these elections are really important. We talk about local government mattering, and this is the show. Your school boards, your community college boards, your library boards, your park districts, your city, your villages. These are all those local races. So that's the big thing in our office right now. And any questions about the report or anything?
Question, Mr. Chairman, Shepro.
Mr. Shepro?
Brian, the ballots by mail, I know that in the general election, there was a state mandate as to who had to have ballots mailed out, and I believe it was voters from previous elections. Was there anything in effect for this election as to who got ballots mailed out, or was it strictly done on the basis of people who had applied?
Back to normal. So with the 2020 election, there was a mandate, as you mentioned, that required election authorities to send out applications to a certain amount of voters. That was only a one-time thing. So we're back to the current or the normal state of affairs with regards to vote by mail. Only those who apply for a ballot will receive a ballot. And to apply for it, the same methods. You can apply online, you can come to the office, you can call for one, etc.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Bill Leonard here. Mr. Pollack, I wanted to ask you a question. I read in the Tribune maybe a week or so ago that in DuPage County, there were 5 reports of voter fraud in the last election, and I think 2 indictments on that. Did we have any of those problems, or was everything pretty good here in Kane County?
We did not have any indication, anything like that here.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, I think in DuPage County, those were actually prosecutions.
Yeah, there are 2 that.
Prosecutions. Weren't just complaints. Okay, any other questions?
Question, Copy?
Yes.
Kopi's on the committee, isn't he?
Oh, Mr. Copey?
Hi, good morning, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. A question from Mr. Pellick in regards to the mail ballots. There was some concern recently that's been battered about the community in regards to how the vote ballot signatures were judged. And I was hoping we could rectify that situation. Don't ask me to clarify the question because I am not that learned on the subject, and I would have to defer to Mr. Shepro on the subject. And then also the vote by mail ballots. Now that was an answer to some problems we had in regards to COVID. Or do we intend to scale back on the vote by mail, or is this going to be, or do we anticipate this to be a norm? There's a substantial amount of mistrust associated with vote by mail, and I'd like to eliminate that if possible. Thank you.
Mr. Copey, was your first question regarding the verification of signatures in vote by mail?
Yes, sir.
You're breaking up a little bit, so getting it. Your question is, how was that done, or were there issues associated with that?
Again, I'd have to defer to somebody that's a little bit more learned on the
Chairman?
subject.
Shepro here.
Yes, Mr. Shepro.
Yeah, Tom, if it would be acceptable, why don't you and I have a conversation offline about that? I'm sure that Mr. Pollack would be happy to respond later to any questions you have.
Yeah, they have a very specific set of equipment over in the office now. And electronically, they verify the signatures in relationship to judges that are there. And I'm sure if you went over there, you could get a tour of that and an explanation in more depth. Would that be satisfactory?
Absolutely. Just to gain some confidence that I can go back into the field with some information, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, one of the statements I made after having the equipment explained to me is that I would rank our county up with any county in the country in regard to the way we handle and process mail-in ballots. So that's one person's opinion. Okay. Thank you. Any other business? Oh, yes.
Oh, just one question I think it worth reiterating, or actually, first question is, the vote by mail is still, you can still apply for vote by mail.
Until April 1.
And have those people that have already applied for vote by mail, have they received their ballots as of yet?
Ballots were mailed for anything that was requested prior to March 12th. The ballots were mailed out on March 12th was when we were permitted to mail them out. And then after that, they're rolling beyond that point.
Certainly.
Mr. Chairman, Copey.
You want to take Copey first?
Mr. Copey, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. The second question was if we intend to scale back on the vote by mail process.
You mean going forward?
Yes, we implemented the vote by mail to as an answer to the COVID, and it is extremely expensive. And I was wondering if there was any intention to scale back if and when the COVID restrictions are lessened.
Okay, so I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you. I think the connection's bad, but I believe the question is going forward, do we intend to scale back on the vote by mail process? Is that correct?
That question is yes, that'll work, yes.
All right, Mr. Pollack?
Vote by mail is a statutory method of voting. The state legislature has passed laws that allow voters to vote by mail. They voted by mail prior to COVID, and they'll continue to vote by mail after that. I mean, if you look at the numbers historically, if you go back to look at the canvass from previous elections, we've always had a significant portion of voters that vote either early or by mail. So yes, the numbers were higher during a pandemic. We'll see what happens in this election, and we'll see what happens going forward. But the legislature requires us to have it available, and we have it available.
Comment, Mr. Chairman, Shepro.
Yes, Mr. Shepro?
If by scaling back, Mr. Copey's referring to some of the procedures that were in effect for the 2020 election only. I think Mr. Pollack addressed that earlier, that for this election at least, there is no, mass mailing of applications. But as was pointed out, the legislature could well change that requirement at any point for future elections, if I'm correct, Mr. Pollack?
Correct. The legislature does what the legislature wants to do.
Okay, thank you. Did that handle all the questions, or?
Did you have something on that point?
Let me add a comment regarding the vote by mail / absentee ballot, which please, Mr. Pollack, correct me if I'm wrong. My daughter is away at college, and so therefore not going to be here for in-person voting. So the portal to request an absentee ballot is the same as the portal for entering a mail ballot. So she went in and did the absentee ballot, which is very simple with the computer access. Within a week, she received her ballot by mail, was very easy to complete. She filled it out and has already mailed it back. Now, I don't know for sure if it's been received, but from a consumer standpoint, the process was very easy. It was very efficient to get the ballot to arrive. So they're going out, they've been out, somebody has completed it and sent it back. So that's at least one case from a member of the public that the process is working very well.
And if your daughter is a Kane County resident, we have a ballot tracking system. So if you go to our website and you click on the ballot tracks, that you get an email saying when your ballot was sent out and then when we received your ballot. So it helps to instill confidence in the voters that their ballots were mailed and have been received.
Mr. Keyes?
And then just a reminder that you can surrender the ballot. I know I keep getting questions. You can take the ballot in with you, surrender it, and then vote in person if you wish, or you can still drop them off, right, the completed ballot
Yes.
at the polling places.
Or at the Dropbox.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Comment, Mr. Chair, Shepro?
Yes, Mr. Shepro?
Yeah, Mr. Pollack, would it be accurate to say that now there is really no difference between a mail ballot and an absentee ballot, except, well, I'll leave it at that they're really now essentially the same process and the same type of ballot?
Correct. The legislature changed the terminology from absentee to vote by mail. If you look at the election code, it refers to vote by mail.
Okay, thank you. All right. Seeing no further questions?
One more thing, Mr. Chair. I know this isn't the Public Health Committee, but this is the committee to which we report. And the clerk would like to point out that our employees, even though we're essential and we've been here in the office since everything started, our employees have not had the opportunity for a vaccination yet, based on this scale. We continue we're losing money, as you see, because we're by appointment only. When our employees get vaccinated, we're looking forward to opening back up and not being appointment only, being able to serve the public. I mean, we're serving the public as best we can, but we'd like to be doing it back to our full scale. And so we'd like to put the pitch in that we really would appreciate to be included in 1B, so that the employees we can reopen and have the confidence for our employees and for the public. So, thank you.
And the treasurer's office seconds that.
Question, Mr. Chairman, Shepro, for either the treasurer or the clerk. Has there been any attempt to reach out to the state to get them to explain why you are not included in those categories and what can be done to accomplish it?
Yes.
Yeah, I like, that's good.
Thank you. I'll leave it at that.
And my guess is they were not successful.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Moving on, is there any other business? I know of no reason for executive section. May I have a motion to place reports on file?
Leonard, so moves.
Shepro seconds.
Okay. Motion and a section to put the reports on file. With a roll call?
Brown,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis, Shepro,
Shepro, yes.
Sturgis,
Surgeon says yes. I see.
Copey,
Copy, yes.
Pepe.
Yes. Any public comments? Talk on so we can at least have a 30-minute meeting. I guess not. We have a motion for adjournment.
Shepro moves.
Leonard, seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all very much.